what the day has brought you so far. Let's put that to one side, as well as any future plans, and close the eyes. Choose to let go of whatever is going on, whether it's animals, and say to yourself, I choose to let go. We're going to be focusing on our hips today. We'll be releasing any tension or emotions that may have got stuck or trapped. So take a moment just to tune into your breath, however it is right now. Go inwards just for a moment. Draw attention to your muscles. Can you sit up a little taller? Relax the shoulders down the back. Engage through the core a little for some extra support while sitting. Soften through the jaw, creating space between the teeth. Maybe you start to deepen your breath. And notice how you are feeling today, right now. Taking in any sounds or smells that are around you. And take the opportunity to set an intention for your practice today. And then open the eyes gently. I'm going to come into a kneeling position, sitting on a block if needs be. And we're going to move through a 3-part Taoist breath. So it's nice and slow and steady. Going to inhale, arms up overhead. Exhale, bring the hands behind the head and push out to the side as we exhale. Inhale, we're going to curl the hands into the shoulders. And exhale, push forward, rounding through the back, emptying the lungs. Inhale, we reach up again. And exhale, we fold forward, coming briefly into child's pose. Repeat that. Inhale, we sit up, arms up overhead. Exhale, hands behind the head and push out to the side. Turn the palms up. Inhale, the hands curl into the shoulders. Exhale, push forward, rounding the back. Inhale, we reach up overhead. And exhale, forward fold into child's pose. Inhale, arms up overhead. Exhale, reach behind the head and push out to the side. Turn the palms up. Inhale, curl the arms in. And exhale, pushing forward, rounding the back. Nice stretch. Inhale to reach up. And exhale, we fold into child's pose. And we'll just stay here for a moment, taking a few breaths. And then using the hands to push yourself up to sitting. We're going to go into our first posture, which is butterfly against the wall. So if you have a wall that you can use, or a chair maybe,
Yes, but I'll be off camera.
Okay.
Okay.
But you'll be there.
Yeah.
I'm going to move my camera so you can see me. So, to get into position, I'm going to sit sideways against the wall and then swing the legs up the wall and lower yourself down to lying. And then just snuggle and scooch your bottom so it comes up against the wall. And then bring the feet together and then slowly lower them down. Let your heels come down as low as they can go. Let the knees go wide. And then you can place the hands wherever they feel comfortable. Maybe it's the belly or down by your sides or reaching up overhead. And then just going to stay here, just breathing for 3 minutes. Letting gravity do the work. So yin yoga can help us to release tension and stored emotion in the hips. This is because the hips are thought to be a storage place for emotions, memories, and energy. Doing the hip opening poses and stretching the hips can release the tension and stagnant energy. This process of releasing emotions can be cathartic, allowing you to acknowledge and heal any suppressed emotions. I'm just going to scooch forward a little bit more. Bring my heels down a little bit more. And the upper body relaxing to the mat. Shoulders are relaxed, neck's relaxed. The mind wanders, just bring it back to the breath. From butterfly, we're going to move into a straddle using the walls. Going to straighten the feet up again. So the feet are at the wall. And then going to let gravity draw the legs apart, letting your feet slide down the wall until you reach a Goldilocks position where the sensations feel just right. No need to push or pull. Just let the muscles do the work here. If there's too much sensation, you can create support using blocks. So you can take a block on either side and prop it underneath the thighs, which will support the legs. You You could also make a loop out of a strap and pop that around your ankles, setting it to a distance that's comfortable for you. Or just let the legs do their thing. When you feel like a little bit more, you could try resting the hands on the inner thighs. Again, not pushing, just letting the weight of the hands do the work. And spending time moving our bodies can help us to become more aware of our internal environment and helps us to identify where we store our stress. There's common emotions that get stored in the hips, such as anger, anxiety, sadness, frustration, trauma and stress. Again, the upper body is just totally relaxed here. And the sensations in the inner thigh and the groin area. Resting the hands on the inner thighs, that extra sensation where the femur bone is. Remembering to breathe. To start coming out of our wall straddle, we're going to use the hands on the outside of the legs. Push the legs back together like we're closing the pages of a book. Keeping the legs up straight. Just have a little shake of the legs. Maybe tick-tock the legs from side to side. And then bring the knees into the chest. Roll onto one side. And slowly, using your arms to push yourself up. Oh, nice and slow to avoid any head rushes. We're going to be moving into frog. So this is a simple yet intense asana to open up your inner thighs and groins. So beginning in child's pose, and slide both hands forward and separating the knees, but remaining seated on the heels. We start here in tadpole, baby frog. If you have any back issues, this may be enough for you today. If the knees complain, you can add some padding, maybe fold over the edges of the mat or a blanket, whatever is needed there. So you can stay here in tadpole, or going to move the hips forward until they are in line with the knees. Feet are still together here. Hips can be high at first, eventually aiming to let the knees widen, and that may then obviously lower the hips down. You can keep the arms forward, both of them, or you can do just one at a time. So bringing one in and resting the forehead onto the opposite arm can feel really nice. So you're finding a deep but sustainable stretch that balances effort and ease, which is about a 4 to a 7 on the sensation scale. And over time, your body will invite you deeper. Embrace the intensity and feel it dissipate with every exhale. If you have one arm in front, you can always change the arm from time to time. You might find that your knees are starting to widen. If you want to add further sensation, you can slowly move the feet apart. Or you can keep them together as we started. If at any point it feels too much of a sensation, you can always bring those knees back in together a bit more to lighten the stretch. Come out of our frog. We're going to come onto your forearms, bring the knees back together, and then push your hips back into child's pose. A breath or two here. And then taking the time to come onto your back just for a short shavasana. Take a moment in between going into our next posture. Oh, feels nice to stretch out those legs. Just take some nice, slow breaths here. in your own time, push yourself back up to seating. And we're going to move into shoelace, starting with the right leg on top. And there's a couple of ways you can get into shoelace. You will probably prefer one over the other. So you can start on your heels and then slide onto the left buttock and bring the right foot over towards its opposite hip, so towards the left hip. So you can do it that way, or you could begin sitting in a crossed leg position and then draw the left foot, sorry, the left knee under the right and cross over that way. Or you can come into it from all fours. So you're going to bring the left knee behind the right knee and pushing back into sitting. So that is a more stressful way to do it for your knees. So if you have any knee issues, I would recommend that way. But find your own way into the pose. So whichever is your preference. So from cross-legged or from kneeling, wanting the right leg over the left leg. So you can pull the feet back towards the hips. You want to have the knees over each other. This is a strong external rotation of the hips. And if you experience any pain here, or this is just too much of a strong sensation, you can release the bottom leg. So you just have one leg over and the bottom leg is straight. So I'm gonna start sitting nice and tall. Hands either side of you just for some extra support. You can choose to have a block or a blanket in between the top and the bottom leg. This will make it just a little bit less of a strong sensation. So sitting nice and tall. Take a few moments here. So shoelace combines the benefits of hip openers, help you decompress and unwind. It can also help relieve any lower back pain and soothe your nervous system. Depends how painful it is, I suppose. Can stay here sitting nice and tall, or I'd like to incorporate eagle arms into this position. So going to bring the left elbow out in front and under the right elbow. Wrap the hands around each other. So nice and tight there. And then start to move your elbows up and away from your body. Notice where you feel this. We're now adducting the arms, but we are abducting the scapula. It's lovely for tight shoulders if you've been sat at a desk all day. I'm going to keep both of the sitting bones grounding down nice and evenly. Taking nice breaths. Remember, if it's too much, you can always release that bottom leg or release the arms, just have them down at your sides. Going to release the arms, so unravel the arms, open up nice and wide, opening the heart, and then lean back onto the hands to release the hips. Ooh, and slowly straighten the legs out. Give them a bit of a shake. You can even take a moment to do a little windscreen wiper, dropping the knees side to side. Right click in my hip. Okay. And then we're going to come round onto all fours. We're going to move into dragon. So starting on all fours, we're going to step the right foot forward in between the hands. Walk the front foot forward until the knee is over the heel and slide the back knee back as far as you can. So keeping the hands either side of the front foot. You can use blocks to bring the floor up to you. And also a blanket under the knee can be quite nice, just for a bit of extra padding there, regardless of whether you have any knee problems. So this is baby dragon. I'm going to stay here just for a minute. Targeting the quads and the hip flexors on the back leg, and the hip socket on the front leg. And if there's any pinching being felt at the front hip, point the toes and knee outwards slightly, so you can move around any compression that's happening. Or just keep the toes pointed forward if there's no pinching. And then we're going to move into winged dragon. So bring the right hand inside of the right knee. You can still keep the blocks there. And then you're going to wing the right knee out a few times, just rolling onto the outside edge of the foot. And then we're going to stay here for a couple of minutes, choosing to stay upright here, or you can also lower the elbows down, either onto the floor or again onto the blocks that are there. And here, resting on the outer edge of the right foot. The knees just tipped out to the side. In yin, we want to feel a muscular tension, not compression. Compression is the felt sensation of bone pressing into bone, a hard wall at the end range of movement. Instead, the sensation we want to create is muscular tension, gently stressing the soft tissues of the body. Lifting up will lighten that sensation in the front of the left hip. Start to come out by bringing that leg in straight, and then moving the back knee in a little bit, pushing the hips back, taking the right knee back. We're going to tuck the toes under and then push the hips up to downward facing dog. Lifting the hips, moving through the feet, just walking the dog a few times. Maybe moving the hips from side to side will feel nice. And then lower the knees down just into a brief child's pose before we repeat on the other side. Feels nice to hug everything in tight. Taking a few easy breaths. And bring the hands to the ground and push the body up. And we're going to repeat shoelace with the left leg on top. So slowly bring yourself back to sitting. And choose your way into shoelace. So we're going to be going on to, we're going to be bringing the left leg over the right this time. So either dropping onto the right hip, bringing that left leg over, bringing the knees in line, maybe bringing those, moving those feet back a little bit towards the hips. So we'll just stay here, hands by our sides, so sitting nice and tall. Settling in, grounding down through the sitting bones. So they're both evenly on the floor. And just sit nice and tall for the first minute. You'll probably find that one side feels different to the other side. One side will feel easier than the other. And then you can use a blanket or a block in between the two knees. Make it a little bit more comfortable. You can stay here nice and tall, or you can move into eagle arms, bringing eagle arms in. This time we're going to have the right arm goes out and underneath the left arm, wrapping around and squeezing nice and tight, and then lifting the elbows up and away from the body, feeling that nice stretch in the shoulders, pulling the shoulder blades apart from each other. Finding stillness. We're so busy, always moving. It's nice just to take a moment and embrace the stillness. shoulders are another place that a lot of people store tension. It's nice to incorporate a shoulder stretch into our hip openers as well. Start to unravel the arms, opening them up wide, opening through the chest, bringing the arms down to the ground, moving back onto the hips, unraveling the legs, straighten them out nice in front of you, give them a little shake, maybe a bit of a windscreen wiper. Feels nice. And then we'll take our dragon on the opposite side. So again, moving round into all fours. Going to step the left, bring the left knee in, step that left foot in between the hands this time. Moving it forward so the knee is over the ankle. Moving the back knee back. Again, using a blanket underneath the knee for extra comfort. Using the blocks to bring the floor up to us. And stay here in baby dragon for a minute. Hips just sink into the position. And then to move into our wing dragon, you're going to bring the left hand inside of the left leg and then roll out a few times onto the outer edge of that left foot, just rolling through, bringing that left knee out to the side, and then come to a place of stillness with the body up high or dropping down onto the elbows for a little bit more. Hips, been described as the body's emotional junk drawer. The stress gets trapped here. The hips are associated with the sacral chakra, and a blocked sacral chakra is said to lead to emotional instability. Hip opening postures can release the stuck tension and emotions. You may feel more than a stretch whilst holding these yin postures, but let any feelings that come up just happen and then wash away. And out of our wing dragon, push yourself up and bring the left knee in, lifting the hips back. Draw the left knee back to meet the right knee. And we're going to tuck the toes under, lift the hips up high, the downward facing dog, and we're going to walk the dog. rolling through those feet. And then we lower the knees down to the ground, sit the hips back just into child's pose for a brief moment. And the time, push yourself back up and come into a seated butterfly. So bringing the feet together in butterfly, we're going to move into deer pose. So from your butterfly legs, we're going to swing the right leg behind you, bringing the right foot towards the right hip, and position the front leg in front of you, moving the foot away from you. And then move the back foot away from the hip until you start to feel like you're tipping over, but then keeping both of the sitting bones firmly rooted into the ground. You may need to move both feet more inwards, or you could sit on a block doing this as well to lift the hips up. Wherever feels comfortable for you to find your edge, find stillness, sitting up nice and tall. Moving the feet further away would be the next step. So sitting here nice and tall, you can stay here, or we can incorporate a twist. So we're going to bring the right hand to the left knee and twist round towards the left, looking over the left shoulder, not pushing or forcing. We've got an external rotation, an abduction of the front leg and hip, and internal rotation and abduction of the back leg, hip. It feels nice after doing shoelace. If that right hip feels like it's creeping up, just push it back down again, manually if needs be. Keep it in place. And to come out of deer, just lean away from the back foot and bring that right leg round into butterfly again. And then we're going to take this to the opposite side. So this time we're going to swing your left leg behind and the right leg is out in front of you. You're either keeping the feet in closer to the body or slowly moving them further away from the body. Remembering not to tilt too much. Keep that left hip down, both sitting bones. And remaining balanced. And then you can take a twist if you would like to, bringing the left hand to the right knee, and lifting up and round towards the right, looking over the right shoulder. Again, one side will feel probably a lot tighter than the other. You might find that in one side you need to have those feet a little bit closer. And again, to move out of this, I'm going to lean over onto the right side. Bring the left foot forward. And then going to come down to lie on your back. Nice and slowly. Maybe do a few windscreen wipers here. Keep the feet as wide as the mat and then just drop the knees to either side. And we're just going to do a short reclining twist. So lying on your back, drawing the knees into the chest, pinning the shoulders to the ground. Open the arms out to the side, the big T, and then drop the knees over to one side.
Oh, don't Rosie. No, no. See, no. Oh.
Don't force the twist, just relax into it and let gravity do the work. If the right shoulder is floating up, you can pop a blanket underneath there. Try and keep the shoulders both on the ground. And then bring the knees back to center, give them another hug, and then drop them over to the opposite side. That twist through the side. Lovely pose to remove any kinks and tension along the spine. A nice release after all our hard work. And slowly roll onto your back. Give your hugs one more, knees one more big hug. And then before you move into our final Shavasana, take any movement you need to remove any niggles. Maybe a full stretch, or again, windscreen wiping the legs side to side. And then find the props you need for your final asana. Maybe a bolster for under the knees or a blanket. Just whatever you need to find that final comfort and release. It's time to rest the body in Shavasana. As you actively relax, watch the flow of chi or prana into and out of the areas that you've just worked in today's practice, which was mainly our hips, but also our shoulders. Take a deep inhale and tense your whole body. Squeeze really, really tight. Shrug up the shoulders, smoosh up your face, curl your toes and your fingers. And then as you exhale, release the tension you just created in your body. Feel the relief as your body lets go. Take another inhale. And on the exhale, let your body sink into the mat, melting away any remaining tension. If your mind is needing a helping hand to rest, try counting down backwards from 27 with each breath that you take. Notice how you feel at 27, and then again, how you feel when you get down to number 1. Notice if your breathing becomes elongated and softened as time goes on. Start to reawaken the body. Bring movement to your fingers and toes. Move the head from side to side. Take a moment to move your wrists and ankles in both directions. Stretch the arms up and inhale to elongate your whole body. Make yourself as long as possible. And then hug the knees in tight. And slowly rolling on to one side. Stay here just for a moment. Before slowly coming up to sitting, keeping the eyes closed. We're going to complete our practice with 3 ons. We'll take an inhale, and as we exhale, we shall om. Inhale now. Om. 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 Our practice is over, and whatever lies ahead for you today, do it with a mindfulness and an awareness of your beautiful body. Namaste.